If you die drinking 20 ounces of water, maybe you were not supposed to be around anymore. This was just your time. You don't belong with us. You couldn't hack it, dude. 20 ounces of water takes you out. It was going to be something soon. If not this, it was going to be something else.
Yeah, and you can't put that on me.
No, yeah. So like,
Judge,
you were on the way out.
You can't put this on me.
You were on the way out. Sorry.
What's up, Pushin Performance family? Welcome back to another episode. It's your boy flying solo today, but I am joined by one of my best friends, former colleagues, Jimmy Hodgins. Jim is a high school track coach, strength and conditioning coach, personal trainer, but really just a master of all things speed. And in today's episode, we talk about first, who is definitively faster, Jim or myself. We talk about what he's learned from his transition from competing in strongman and powerlifting to now competing into a little bit of masters track and field. And we also talk about some of his biggest lessons learned from applying the principles of speed development to a large group of high school athletes. So whether you work with high school athletes or not, whether you coach speed or not, there's a lot of awesome just general principles that you can take away from this conversation. So without further ado, let's jump into the episode. Let's lock in here.
Let's log out.
I wasn't locked in earlier today, but I'm locked in now.
There you go, dude. That's all that matters. Come game time, we're locked in.
And that's really we can just actually end the show there.
That's all we needed, I think.
Just start. That's the only take-home message is that you still gotta lock in.
Of what we were all going to say anyway.
Yeah.
Try locking in.
But no, Jim, thanks for coming on the show. Long time friend. Long time training partner.
Oh yeah.
Been through many of horrible phases of training together.
Horrible.
A lot of malnutrition.
A lot of missed snatches.
A lot of just mainly between us, we've bombed out of competitions a lot.
More often than not.
It's actually just me. Jim's been there for every time I bombed out a snatch. What a friend.
Hell yeah. Holding your hand for the clean and jerk. We'll get him next time. We will not.
Which is the worst part because I was like every meet I pulled up to, I was one of the best clean and jerkers there in my weight class. Every single time, like without fail.
Walking away with
but I was the worst snatcher.
What was the weight you kept trying to open up with? It was like 3 meets in a row. It was the same opener.
91 kilos is the same fucking opener.
Yeah, the one that got away.
But also, 91 kilos was like 98% of my one rep max.
It's heavy. Yeah, it was a tactical error more than a bad lift.
I didn't have a coach. It was just like the boys.
Yeah, just winging it on the platform.
We both didn't have coaches, so you would compete in powerlifting and strongman. So we would just pull up to meets with the boys.
The homies, dude, just try to lift the heavy weights. Sort of peaked.
Be like five homies deep.
Yeah,
none of them know what's going on.
That was the one Strongman. We were like all like the drinking boys came out. Like no one has any idea what's going on. Like, thanks for coming. Whatever.
We're in the back room like we're your coach. We're not doing anything productive. We're probably drinking. Like it's just all bad.
It's college stuff, man. We needed that though. It's growth opportunity.
But the vibe's great. We needed that growth opportunity. Learn a lot from there.
That's what it's all about.
But I think that's I think that's where I want to start. I feel like a lot of strength coaches who were started as the classic strength coach, like banging weights, getting as strong as humanly possible. Some have made the switch to endurance sport. Some have made the switch to some form of combat sport, probably mostly like BJJ stuff. But very few that I've seen have made the switch to just like, I'm going to be a sprinter and then a track coach. And I don't remember when or how it happened. I just remember one day waking up and I had cleats and we were like we were just sprinting and like talking shit on who was slower. I don't know how it happened.
Yeah,
but one day one day it was just there.
it did kind of materialize from thin air, but yeah, dude.
How did that walk me through it? How did you make that drastic change
From strength to speed? It was I don't know, it didn't. Man, I have a tough time pinpointing it myself. It was strange because yeah, at one point my whole philosophy was just force, 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 force. More weight on the bar. That's all that matters. Get stronger, get stronger.
Yeah.
And then I guess it was I started working with Exos, and they had like that free education stuff for employees, and some of them had speed stuff. And I'm like, this is kind of cool. And then I was in grad school, and I was fortunate enough to have Ken Clark as a professor. For those who know speed know who Ken Clark is. Yeah, so he's like low key talking speed, and I started reading more about it, and then this track coach job kind of fell into my lap because our buddy Torp is the head coach, and he was like, "We need a sprints coach. Do you know anybody?" And I was like, "I know me actually. I would love to try this." So that's how I wound up there, and I was trying to learn more to be a better coach with that stuff because I don't have any track background, don't have any speed coaching background going into this. So I'm reading and I'm practicing myself to see what things feel like, seeing how fast I can get. And then I was like, just kind of fell in love with it from there. And then you started talking shit. And so that's where the race stuff started happening. It was just me posting something about being fast, and you out of nowhere, like, I'm faster than you. It's like, maybe so.
It was like 5 years ago.
Yeah. Neither of us were fast at all back then. Either. We were both slow.
No. Oh my
Terrible.
God. Yeah. Looking back on it. Cause I think it was probably around I might've started doing, maybe not. I don't know. I can't remember when I came into a role with Exo Sport in North Carolina, and I started doing a ton of movement skill stuff myself because I was teaching a high school group. And I'm doing like, going through the classic kind of like Exos progression where you're doing like lateral push to base and then going through like shuffle and stick and all this stuff. And the athletes were like, "Coach, that looks so bad."
Yeah.
Like just high school kids just flaming me for my movement. And I was like, all right, I need to practice this stuff so I can get better at demoing it and coaching it and understanding what it feels like. But even then, like, I remember going through like the first iteration of Sprint Timber.
Oh yeah,
that was good. That was like 2019, I think.
Yeah.
So five years ago was like probably the first time I seriously did like a sprinting training program. Like the main goal being get faster. And like looking back on those videos, it's horrifying.
Yeah, dude, the leg speed is so bad. It's crazy.
No separation.
Yeah, no
Angles
separation.
Are horrific.
Yeah. Getting no separation, and it's happening real slow. Just kind of pounding everything. They're not bouncy at all. No bounce, no range.
Just deforming.
Just everything hurts anyway. But yeah, dude, I was in the same boat.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I think a lot of it for me too is stemmed from ego trip. It's like I don't want to look like a fool when I demo stuff. So that's kind of why I started training it mostly myself, similar to what you were just saying. Yeah, I got to make sure I can compete with these kids if I'm going to be showing them what's up. So,
do you know definitively who's faster though between you and I?
Definitively. Where did we end up? We trained together on the track the one day. We did some 40s with the lasers. We did some 10 flies. We did a bunch of stuff. We were doing 20 XLs. I think you beat me on one of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Out of like, what did we do? Like,
I think
9?
I'd beaten you on.
I think you got me in the 40
beat you on 2 reps out of 20.
Yeah.
I got you in the 40, but like it was cold, it was late, like that was very, very poor conditions and we both hadn't trained a 40.
Yeah.
In a while because
it
was coming off of winter.
40s.
I got you in the 40. They were horrible times. We're not going to say what they were. No, don't disclose. Just know they were bad.
They were not good. Yeah, whatever you're thinking, it was worse.
I think we can say definitively you are faster than me. It hurts me to say that.
I think I am right now. Yeah. I would bet money that I'd beat you.
But I've been too busy playing tennis, and now talking to you right now, I'm gonna quit playing tennis and start running again.
Just dial back
Full-time.
in, man.
Quit my job.
Full-time sprinter. Diamond League. Yeah, out there.
Get cooked.
Yeah, dude.
But that transition from being a powerlifter, being a big thick boy, to now being a lean boy and fast as hell, has that like completely changed your philosophy around coaching and programming and everything?
Yeah, it's shifted entirely what I think is important for training people in general and for myself personally. But yeah, like I said, like before, it was all about force at all costs. Doesn't matter. I'll put on body weight. I was at my heaviest. I was like 245. It wasn't even like a great 245. Like I would put on 10 pounds and put like a pound on my deadlift. So it was like not a good trade. But I was doing it because it got me more pounds on the deadlift. Weight on the bar was all that mattered. But now, yeah, philosophy is more about now
Literally.
like being what I call like overbuilt and hyper capable. So I want to have like a lot in the reserve to be able to handle like really anything, including mostly speed. Because I think speed fills a lot of buckets, right? If you got like force, as you keep talking about your force velocity curve lately. Speed's up top. It's really high force, even though people think it's just speed, but there's a ton of force going into speed. So work the speed, it'll fill the force bucket a little bit. That'll fill the everything else. So my philosophy has been a lot more towards speed first, as an emphasis on speed for everybody. And speed doesn't mean just sprinting, but being able to apply force fast.
Yeah, and you still train a fair amount of just regular folks, weekend warrior, gem pop folks.
Yeah.
So even for them,
they're
like,
jumping, they're running.
It's less lifting than it would have been.
Yeah, the emphasis is definitely on like it's more plyo stuff. It's more, especially I think Gen Pop. I think that's kind of the fountain of youth more so than just lifting weights. Is like how many 60-year-olds do you know that could like jump onto a curb and be okay and not have to think about it even, right? So it's like having that coordination, having that ability to, it's like a reduces fall risk, stuff like that is what I'm thinking about. So yeah, long-term Gen Pop, you guys should be running fast and jumping and throwing med balls, all that good stuff. Plus, it's fun. It's more than anything.
Like throwing med balls, fun. I was about to say it's fun as hell.
It's just fun, dude. We're chasing tennis balls in the gym, dude. It's like it's the best. I got like a 46-year-old guy, and we're just like, I'm like, go get it. Try to run, bring it back, dude. Yeah, exactly. We're playing fetch in the gym, dude. It's a lot of fun, and they're getting a lot out of it.
I love that, dude. And that, yeah, 100%. Like, and there's a lot to that. Like, I was talking to my mother-in-law who's obsessed with pickleball, and I'm like, when do you get the opportunity to like read and react and make a movement decision?
Yeah,
like outside of sport, like that's awesome. That's so good for you.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's an underrated quality, I think, right now. I think it's getting the love that it deserves lately. More and more people are coming around to that kind of training, I think. At least from what I'm seeing in my little echo chamber on social media. But yeah, dude, I think that's where it's at.
Echo chamber.
Yeah.
Because we just be sending each other the same reels.
Yeah, dude, we exist in the same place. Constantly. We're seeing nothing else outside of that. But
just training and dog videos from our wives.
Yeah, yeah, dude. So many Halloween costumes on dogs, dude. Yeah, that's most of my DMs is training and dogs and costumes.
I love it. I love it. But like, so when you first started personal training, was it just straight up, we're under the bar, like for Gen Pop, like we're under the bar?
Yeah.
And we're getting stronger.
you had to barbell squat. There's no way around it. That's the king of the lifts. Everybody has to barbell squat, and you got to get good and strong at it, and that's going to solve all your problems. Then I got more sophisticated, and I was like, it's actually a front squat. That's the one. We got to do that. That's the secret lift. And I thought I was better than everybody.
You read Boyle's Functional Training?
Yeah, exactly, dude. You read one article, and I changed my whole life. It's like front squat is it. This is where we're at. I think Elliot Holtz was big back then. He was talking about front squats. I said the word thoracic extension too many times. not understanding what the hell I'm talking about, dude. You know, that Dunning-Kruger curve was crazy, man. It nailed me throughout my whole. I don't know where I'm at on it right now. I don't trust anything. I might still be on
So I don't know
peak
what I
idiot,
know.
whatever
I
it is.
don't know what I don't know.
Yeah, dude. I'm just rolling with the punches. But yeah, so yeah, it was squats with barbell lifts, and now it's sprinting. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, it stays there for a while. I can't afford to keep changing.
Just rebranding,
Yeah. Rebrand. But yeah. When I first started personal training, yeah, it was a lot of like.
I feel like Yeah. No, for sure. And I think that's like a standard, especially for younger coaches, but coaches in general, like our biases and our thought process obviously start to bleed into how we train others, regardless of if that's what's best for them or if that's what they really need. Like I was, in weightlifting, so everyone got weightlifting. Yeah. That I was in CrossFit, and even like athletes I work with would hit a Metcon every now and again just because they saw me doing it and they wanted to do it. And obviously that's probably far from what they should have been doing.
Yeah,
and it's just like that natural progression of what happens. But now it sounds like you're in a point where it's like you understand how to dose things to the level of the person that you're working with, like literally meeting them where they are from like a capacity standpoint.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I got these, especially I have two, they're not older, but they're older than like high school kids. They're adults in their 50s, 40s and 50s. And they're not doing like 10-meter flies, but they are getting high output stuff. So like the concept's the same, but the way we get there is kind of going to meet them where they're at. So that might be just like a curve treadmill running to get the thigh speed, but I don't care about anything else with them. I'm not worried about the impulse, Yeah.
Just something
that checks that
matches,
box.
Like you said, matches the stimulus.
Yeah. It's all about checking the box.
No, and I think a lot of coaches like miss that, right? They see the thing, right? They see the 10-meter fly, but they're missing the what it's doing, or like what is the stimulus on the body, and knowing that like you just said, I can achieve that stimulus for this person in a different way.
And even like pick a stimulus, because like obviously like a sprint has a few things going on. Like which ones do I want, and can I get them somewhere else, somewhere safer, maybe in most cases. Yeah. So yeah, like I'm looking for the thigh speed. I wanted that, so I took that and found it somewhere else without having to set up timing gates and getting 50 meters of track.
And like, I'm taking a loss on ground contact time or specificity in that regard, but I'll get that somewhere else too.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where we'll do some jumps, some kind of other plyo. I do a ton of pogo. Everybody does pogos pretty much. That's my new. Everybody has a squat. Everybody does pogos now. So they're pretty. They're relatively idiot proof. They accomplish a lot. They're They're really safe. So do a lot of pogos now for that.
Gosh, I love just going full idiot proof program. Let's make this as simple as possible.
Yeah. Belly, you ever jump
actually get some good outputs?
We're doing that. Yeah. Exactly, dude. It's all about the output. Yeah, that's kind of my main thing now.
A surprising amount of adults can't jump rope.
I had a hard time with it forever, just like the rhythm and timing of it. For whatever reason, I couldn't like get over. I could like do the motion, but I can't. I can now. Not like I'm not good at jump roping, but I can not look like an idiot now.
God. That was my shit back in CrossFit, the old double under.
Oh, you're big. I can't. I don't think I've ever done a double under before. I don't think I've ever tried one though.
They're actually low key like very challenging.
Yeah, it looks tough, dude. Do you got to jump real high, or do you just got to whip it faster?
I feel either or. It's more efficient if you whip it faster. If you have like a better rope, it's more efficient to whip it faster than try to jump high.
You just technology your way out of it. I got you.
You got to technology your way out of it.
Just get a better rope.
Just get a better rope.
Feel that, man?
It's not you. It's your equipment.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Just get better spikes. It's not you,
man. People are mad about the spike world now, man. People get upset.
Really?
People from back in the day that were crushing it with the half plates, and now kids are blowing by them these full plates. Like, it's the spikes. Like, maybe a little bit.
That's every sport, though. No.
Yeah. Sad when swimming went through the same thing with the tech suits when they came around.
Yeah.
The full body, like super buoyant suits. People were all upset, up in arms. People put asterisks next to the records. But everyone came around. It all worked out.
Let's give it time.
Yeah.
I feel like every sport's made a big technological advancement or rules change in some way, shape, or form. Like,
yeah.
I feel like the old generations of sport are just mad.
They're mad. Yeah. Nothing's the same as it was 20 years ago in any sport. Yeah. So everything's changed. You ever see that graphic of I forget who posted, it might have been Adam Petway or somebody on basketball, how like the way basketball is played, or like where shots are taken from on the court versus like now versus like the 80s or whatever, and they're like all on the 3-point or directly under the bucket now. It used to be all over the place.
Yes.
So do you think like Jordan's mad about that? I don't know.
I think he's probably fine.
Yeah.
Too busy gambling.
I would have been so much better if people were just shooting back then. But yeah,
that man doesn't give a damn about anything. He's good.
No, he's doing all right.
But no, I'd say you walk the walk well as a coach, as far as your philosophy and what you have your athletes and your clients do. Is that I think JT and I have talked about that in the past. And walking the walk, eating at your own restaurant, whatever you want to call it. Is that something you like generally think coaches should do more of?
I don't think it's like a necessity. Like, obviously, like some coaches are like old heads, you know, like Dan Paff doesn't need to be ripping 10 flies and still to be able to call himself a good coach. I would recommend that he don't do that, but I think it definitely, it helps a lot. And it helps you kind of appreciate more what's going on with your programming if you're kind of your own guinea pig and eating at your own restaurant. And then also it like, for me, it like makes it more fun working like in a team environment. If I'm like, can go into practice one day and it's like, we're doing 10 flies today. I went 1.09 2 days ago. See if you can beat me. And that's fun. Try to beat the coach.
Yeah.
You know, like kids like that. Yeah. I'm sure it's the same at different levels. Like, here's what I'm doing. Try and get there. Just kind of set a bar somewhere if they don't already have a bar of their own yet.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I love that.
I think it's good for buying. Yeah.
Something to shoot for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, it's so helpful from a learning perspective for you as a coach.
Big time. Yeah, because then like if things come up that you didn't think might come up, and if things do come up like, oh, that felt kind of weird on my groin, and then like it goes away, then if someone's like, my groin feels kind of weird, I can be like, yeah, mine too, it went away. You'll be okay. Or it didn't go away. Right. Let's stop. Pull up a little bit.
We're doing something wrong here.
Yeah. Like just kind of knowing what to expect, being able to tell them what they can expect to feel while doing different things. You know, it helps you cue a little better and helps you kind of manage the aftermath a little bit better.
Yeah. I haven't even thought about that much from like a cueing perspective, but like, yeah, while they might be experiencing, you know, something slightly different, like just based on their own, you know, past experiences and their understanding, it gives you a better starting point to say like, you know, here's what I'm thinking about. Here's like an analogy that I'm thinking about, or here's like an external focus thing that I was thinking about that helped me. Let's see if that works for, you know, this group of kids who's about to do, you know, the same or a similar drill, workout, you name it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not exactly the same as what I'm doing. Like if I'm doing 10 flies, I keep using the 10 fly example because we do a lot of that. But if I'm doing 10 flies and then like my high school guys are doing 10 flies, they're so much faster than me. It's like a different exercise, but it just gives me a little bit more context. Well, like it's not going to be the same thing as what I'm doing. I'm lucky to hit under 1.1. They're shooting for under a second, a lot of these guys. So I'm nowhere near that. So, but there's still some things to be taken away from it in general.
Yeah. And yeah, in a 10-meter window, that's a world of difference.
It's drastic. Yeah, that's also funny. New kids and young kids just don't quite grasp that concept. of like how much faster, like even a 1 second 10-meter fly is than like a 1.01. Like that's a whole other world.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I keep hearing, I got a young high school kid and he's talking like, I'm only 2 seconds away from whatever time in the 200. I'm like, dude, that's so much time. Dude, that's, how dare you say only? That's nuts.
It's so
But
far.
yeah, I think they all kind of figure it out after their freshman year so far, in my experience. They're like, oh, I get it now.
I
Like,
get
yeah,
it.
man.
I get
Yeah.
it.
People
I
aren't
see
just
that.
doing this out here. It's just hard.
Oh man. So it sounds like there's some good some good lessons learned from your journey and working with high school athletics. What was it like going in? You just went in raw. No track coaching experience. Now
Yeah,
you're the sprints coach.
yeah.
What
That
was
was
year one like?
that was the most nervous I've ever been in my life. Going in, I was armed with nothing but like a philosophical understanding, like sprint theory. I had all that. I was very confident with that, but it's like being able to put it into practice. I was very nervous about that. And like, is this going to work? Am I wrong about everything? Am I going to break all these kids? Are they all going to suck? Like, what if this doesn't
Yeah.
work? Like, what if the books are wrong? I don't know. But it was, so it was really nerve wracking going in, but I got in there and, I was super lucky my first year because I had, like, our team was awesome. It was really nice to have.
Hell yeah.
We had in particular, we had like, so obviously like the big thing learning about like track sprinting in particular and sprinting in general, but mostly track sprints, you'll see a lot of people talking about like that front side mechanics versus backside, where like you want to run with your legs in front of you. And a lot of people, to like the untrained eye, it looks kind of weird, right? Running like, I think kids call it spidering now. I don't know what that's all about. That might be wrong, but yeah, I don't
That a
know.
TikTok thing?
I think it was a TikTok thing. I'm not on TikTok. I don't see any of that, but
I'm not on TikTok.
yeah,
No.
running frontside
I'm too
mechanics was
old.
like the thing I was going in. Like I have an understanding of this. I'm seeing a lot of backside, and we're doing a time trial, like one of the early days. So I'm watching like all these kids run by in 100, and they're all running like that classic backside untrained, like bozo, just how like a kid runs if you don't train him anything. It's fine. And so I'm watching all these kids, and some of them are kind of fast. I'm like, oh no, like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I shouldn't even touch their form at all. Maybe this is it. But this is where I got real lucky is we had one kid on the team who was like this super stud. He was like our only sub 11 guy for the 100 on the team at the time. And then he runs like beautiful textbook, what I had seen in the movies, frontside mechanics for 100, blows everybody away. And I was like, he just reassured me. I was like, okay, I'm right. This is right. This is the right way to do it. So
This is right. You can do this.
yeah, okay, it does work. Good, perfect. So we went from there, and then just having like that kid on the team was great. And then buy-in was high. I was able to kind of talk and sound smart. So kids were buying what I was selling, and we got it popping. We learned along the way, learned a lot, changed things year to year.
Yeah.
This is year 3 I'm going into right now. I think, right? Is it year 3 or year 4? It's crazy I can't keep track with a number that low. I think it might be.
I feel like it's 4, but you might know better than I. But for some reason, I thought it was 4.
I should know better than you. I think 2020 threw me off, dude. That
Somewhere
whole
in the middle.
year, that whole year jacked me up. But
I don't know where you are anymore.
yeah, so like having somebody like doing what I thought was right and it working already when I got there was huge for me. So I think if that guy wasn't around, I might have just jumped ship and been like, I don't know what I'm doing, and just let them keep running. And then been like every other high school track coach, like, we're doing repeat 200s until the wheels fall off, and we're gonna hope that works. And good luck in the meet.
And just know that, like, generally high school kids get faster and better as they continue to run and continue to mature. So
Yeah.
it's like, let's hope that happens.
Yeah. High school boys in particular, it's like always a nice kind of little cushion to have. It's like just knowing that next year they're going to be faster no matter what I do. Like most of them, at least.
Yeah.
Just by virtue of being bigger, stronger, older.
Yeah.
So that was always nice to have. But yeah, getting into the track from no base was weird, but it was a lot smoother than it should have been because I got real lucky with a lot of the kids I had and the support I had. from the other coaches and stuff. But yeah, that's about how that went.
That's huge. That's huge. Yeah. Now, so was there like was it a big kind of shock applying theory, especially to a group like high school athletes? Like, I know people talk about the ivory tower and how there's, a little bit of a distinct difference between theory and practice. I think Ken Clark's really good. You mentioned him about understanding like limitations from living in the theoretical space and being like, yeah, this is what works in theory, but people are doing something different in practice and it works. So I don't know. But like,
Yeah.
were there any things like that popped up where you're like, this theoretically should work, but it's not working right now?
Not so a lot of stuff, not so much that, but a lot of it became like, so at the school I'm at, we had like probably 40 sprinters my first year. Not all of them are good, but they're all training with me. They're all doing the same stuff. And so we had like a huge team. So then it went from like, here's what we should be doing based on theory to here's what we practically can do with this many people.
Yeah.
Because it was like the first few days, I'm trying to like, we're doing video, we're taking everybody, I'm like giving them all feedback, I'm showing them angles and dartfish. And then it's like 50 minutes later, we've done like, if everyone's done one start. I'm like, all right, this was not a good day. This is not a useful day. So like picking things that matter and like getting close enough to like the perfect, like in theory, what we should be doing, and just doing something that kind of like, again, checks the box that we're looking for. And it became more about it's versus like teaching like the theory of what I'm looking for and like trying to achieve everything perfect like I want it. It was more about like kind of providing kids opportunities to get what they need. So it's like just giving them a chance to run fast, and they're going to run fast. They're going to self-organize a lot better than you might think. A lot of them kind of figure it out, giving them a ton of reps to like, we're just going to do a million starts. I'm going to watch some of them. I'm going to give you guys feedback on some of them, but not all of them. Just kind of do rep, see what feels good. If you can provide times back to them, they can know that felt okay, but my time sucked. This one felt good and my time was better. This one felt weird, but my time was better. And they'll make adjustments based on that.
Yeah.
So it became more about what's practical and how can we check the boxes I want for the least chaos possible with high school kids.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
I love the idea of that does. That's helpful. No, I like the idea of giving times back. I like the idea of allowing kids to just get reps in. Like, I think that's one thing as coaches that we often overlook or don't appreciate is just how long motor learning takes. Like, to actually learn something and for that to become, we can call it, quote unquote, an ingrained pattern for them. Like, how long does it take for an expert powerlifter to get good at squatting? Like, a very long time. Like, how long does it take for a weightlifter to get good at snatching? Me never, right? And it's just like, it takes a long time to learn a movement. Just like, let's let them experience it and try it and try it and try it and try it and like almost like get out of their way a little bit.
Yeah, let athletes be athletes. And then through all those reps, even if they're not hitting the angles that I want, they're still getting the impulse, they're still getting the leg speed, they're getting the stimuli that I want physiologically. Yeah. So if nothing else, they're walking away with better tools to come back next time and keep figuring things out, which might be what they need anyway. Like, they might not be able to hit the angles and the shapes that I want because they're not fast or strong enough yet. So the kids, it kind of self-organizes itself training that way. The kids get what they need automatically.
Yeah, that was something I was gonna throw out. Like, for your freshman, sophomore, those kids who are smaller, late bloomers, whatever you want to call it. Like, do you find that a lot of them, like, you're just like, I could coach up right now? Like, I see people trying to coach up like angles on like youth athletes, and it's like their bodies are going to drastically change in a little bit here. Like, that stuff might not apply. Like, you just kind of let it be and not even like stress on the technical stuff.
Yeah, that's something I've been recently thinking a lot more about is exactly what you just said. Yeah, I could like train up and get it perfect this year, but next year you have a whole new body. So it's like, we're gonna reteach it. It's gonna be a different thing. We're not gonna do this every year, So if I have like a one-on-one person who wants to learn how to do a block start, that's great. We'll teach you, and I'll teach everybody up to a point that I'm not getting embarrassed at meets when kids get in the blocks as the coach. I think we do a lot more block starts than a lot of other teams in the area because I just want to we want to at least look like we know what we're doing at the meet, if not for my own ego. But ultimately, feel like the blocks are weird. Like you remember being at the track, like feeling blocks are not comfortable at first. You got to figure them out. It takes a lot of reps. It takes a lot of reps to figure the blocks out. So we do them a lot. But yeah, the feedback is coming, especially the younger kids, like once in a while. Like if you're doing something drastically weird that looks ugly and embarrassing, we'll fix it real quick. But as far as like getting the darfish out for young kids and like you're projecting it 55 degrees, you could probably come down more towards like 45 or 50 and maybe you'll be better off there. This first step has to come sooner. Your hips are too high. And like that stuff can wait. We want one that looks okay for the young kids. Unless we have like a super stud. If we get a freshman come in that's going 10-8, then yeah, we'll lock it in. You're probably pretty developed already anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, the blocks are one of the most embarrassing experiences that I've ever had in my life, like legitimately.
It was tricky. I was trying to learn them myself for a while, but like finding time to do them when nobody else was at the track was like hopeless. So I was like waiting for like all my guys to leave and I'll like quick get them out and I get in there, but then one of them will like forget their bag and like come back and then I have to just stand there. Like I'm just fixing the blocks and like get my wrench out, like putting new pins in them. I wasn't going to do anything. See you later. It's like, nah, go away so I can practice these.
No one's going to catch me.
Yeah, no one watched me stumble out of these
No one's going to catch me looking goofy.
Yeah, dude. And I did look so bad.
I think I fell the first time.
Probably. I don't remember
I fell. I think I was like screaming. It's
easy to stumble.
I posted it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to post this. I'm going to post this in my story. Like, I'm going to let people know it's okay to it's okay to fail. Like, it's okay to learn. I got fucking flamed on the internet by so-called friends and colleagues.
Oh, no. Yeah, dude. I keep all those locked up.
Just resorted to being like, well, I want to see you do it. I bet you couldn't do it.
Yeah. That's the last line of defense. You do it then.
I don't see you posting sprints on the internet.
You're on your time.
Yeah, me? Probably somewhere around 14 seconds.
Yeah, if you don't have one at all,
I don't know if I would make it, actually.
You what?
Yeah, literally. I was like, if I can make it to the finish line.
Yeah. If both hammies don't go first. Which is a real risk.
Just double tear.
Yeah, dude. Can't have
that. Very, very real. But no, I love it. Like, and the idea of like even just knowledge of performance being like, I think we think about it as a tool to drive intent and a tool to drive buy-in and motivation and all that stuff. But like I think rarely think about it as an actual coaching tool to change someone's movement.
Yeah. Because a lot of times, like if I'm asking you to make a drastic change to the way you're doing something, you got to see that it's working if you're going to make that change, right? If you're running a certain way and you're running whatever time, like a pretty good time, I gotta be able to back it up if I'm going to say, well, run way differently and it'll be faster. I got to be able to show you that, or else why would you change it? It's like, I've been doing this for a while and it feels good, so I'm going to keep doing it this way. Like, no, well, see what happened when you ran this way that I told you to and it was faster? Let's go from there. You know, and if it's not faster,
that's the goal.
Yeah, then it's not faster. But
yeah, and I feel like that's one thing that kind of comes from, you know, as a coach, whether if you have experience, you know, in sprinting in your athletic career, or if you're doing it now, or even doing something like weightlifting that's, you know, fast in the weight room. Like it's such a short time frame. It's really, really hard to know like where you are in space and what things look like. That's one thing I found with sprinting is like when we had the timing gates out, I would hit a you know, whether it was like a 20 or a 10 meter fly, like most of the time, the reps that felt the worst were far and away my fastest, and the reps that felt like I was like, I'm cooking, I was slow as hell.
Yeah.
And it's just, I was like, I feel so disconnected from my body right now.
That's where the biggest thing I think with running really fast is like learning how to be relaxed and trust that that's okay. It's like what we'll do if we're doing like a 10-meter fly, we'll start with like doing it 70%, doing it 80%, doing it 90%. And they'll hit their 90% one, and they got like in their mind they have like 10% in the tank, but they're hitting PRs at 90%. Just because in their head they said I can take this one a little bit easy, but they're still spinning the legs. I'm like, and then you can point to that and say, see what happened here? That's your 100% now. All right, we're gonna run like that the whole way. Stay relaxed. This is what I'm talking about. When you run relaxed, it's gonna be fast. If you strain too much, you tighten up, you don't get the range. That thigh separation goes away, and so that was big. Being able to show that with timing gates and other metrics like that, just kind of displaying, illustrating why things work and how they work.
Yeah. So I mean, from my vantage point, it sounds like applying the science of speed to a group of high school kids has been a positive experiment. I think things have generally gone well. Things are working out.
It's been going great. Yeah, we're doing really well. We got one of the better sprint teams in the area. We got a bunch of gold medals at conferences. So yeah, we're doing real good. Things have been working. And it's been yeah. Against all odds. It's funny when kids are like, what was your 100 time in high school? I'm like, I don't have one. Yeah.
In the pool?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 54. Like what?
I was underwater.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
But yeah, we got lucky.
I think for me the biggest takeaway I'm hearing is that like it's almost like, you know, you're again like the non-negotiables. So like to get fast, you have to run fast, and like some of the technical things, right, from a physics standpoint, I'm applying force in the right direction. But then like beyond those things, like maybe the protocols you might read in a paper, or, you know, a protocol you might see from a coach working with pro athletes or athletes one-on-one, or something from Altus. It's like, how can I make the best out of my specific scenario, and like know that like there's a lot of stuff that's just simply not going to make sense because of whether it's group size, equipment, you know, you name it, whatever limitations that you have.
Yeah, like it would be great to get like a ton of like 1080 sprints or run rockets and find everybody's like 50% speed decrement and do resisted acceleration by that nature with everybody, but we just don't have that. So we're going to settle for banded accels with somebody holding you back with a big rubber band, and we're just going to get around the right resistance with that. And especially where I'm at with the high school kids, they don't need to be super dialed in. We don't need force plates. They're in high school. They're still growing up. They don't need super hyper sophisticated stuff. You know, they just got to run fast as often as they can, as fresh as they can, as Tony Holler says. And that's going to take them most of the way. Yeah. High outputs, hit those outputs, and you'll be all right.
That's a wave. I feel like that's a wave I've been on recently, because I work with a ton of coaches who like see sports science tech or see what other facilities have, and they're like, man, I wish I had that. Or like, if I had a 1080, I could do X, Y, and Z. Or if I had force plates, then I could do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, what are you gonna do with all that?
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do? Is that information even practical for you right now?
Yeah, just do what you were gonna do on the force plate without it, and just trust that the adaptation that you're looking for is gonna be there. If you're like, I wish we could do like repeat jumps and then see like make sure they're good with the force plate, just do repeat jumps then and hope it looks okay. Like, you don't need to measure everything. I love metrics and stuff, but like you can get around a lot of things. Just get the stimulus and get out of there.
Yeah. No, I think probably haven't reached the peak of going too far, but it's probably like the metrics in sports science data, especially if you're just one coach and you don't have a sport. Like if you have a sports science team, that's one thing. But if you're just one coach, that's another. And if you're just one coach working with 40 high school kids, then that's a whole other ball game where it's like, yeah, like if it doesn't make sense from a practical standpoint, then it's got to get out of here.
Yeah, practicality first. It's kind of the big learning curve my first year. It's great to want even like things like taking like before I had timing gates, I would just time 10-meter flies and dartfish by like just taking a video and then putting the clock, superimposing it on there and timing it like that. And just the amount of time and bandwidth it took to do that for every kid and then like write it down and do it to the next kid and then write it down. Like having an assistant would take so much out of that. But if it's just you, like little things take up so much time and so much bandwidth. Like more so than I thought. It's like I'll just do it like this and I'll just write it down myself. Like, nah, that lasted one rep. And I was like, I'm not writing any of these down. I'm just gonna yell them at him.
Never mind.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Wait, so you mentioned Tony Holler. Is that what's one of the influences that sparked the 20 mile per hour and faster clubs?
He I guess he is doing that. I don't remember where I saw that first. There's a guy near me doing that. He's not a track coach, but he does like speed stuff. So he's got like the signs and stuff. It's like that's really cool. I've been seeing other people do that. And it's just like it's a fun like number that everyone knows. They got speed limit signs around. So just having that, and it's a way to gamify training. So it's kind of like I don't think it's like a genius concept to like have 20-mile-an-hour speed limit signs. I think a lot of people come to that conclusion. I did see it somewhere. I forget where it was, but I have been on the Tony Holler kick lately as well. I like a lot of what he's doing.
Yeah,
I think he gets wristbands
and just around like
for his kids, like 20-mile-an-hour club wristband, 21-mile-an-hour club, 22, and like some kids like walk around with like all three on them. Like they just stack them on top of each other. Like that's awesome. That's a cool idea. But yeah, if trying to be a member of the club, I think it's a cool way to kind of gamify and just kind of drive competition.
Yeah. I mean, like you talked about the things that matter, the non-negotiables, like you mentioned being fresh, but just intent in general. If you're trying to reach or train near your maximum output, gotta be one of those non-negotiables.
Yeah. To train speed, like everything I've been seeing my whole career so far and everything I've been noticed personally is like if you're not hitting, some people are saying like 90%. I think even that's conservative, like 95% of your top speed. You're not getting a good speed stimulus. So if we're doing 10 flies, I'll have like a list of everyone's like best 10 fly time. And if it's like 1.05 and you're not hitting like under 1.15 or whatever for that day, then you're done your flies. We're not going to spend any more energy on this. You're going to do something else to recover. So we'll pull you from that. And I think that stuff, that's like the biggest KPI in my opinion for sprinters is like your top speed. The guy with the fastest top speed usually wins the race. So we're going to hammer that. Yeah. And if your start sucks, we'll address that as well. But we're going to not trade any time from training that top speed because it's so much more important. And it's filling all those buckets underneath it. Like you need high force for the start. You're going to touch a lot of that doing speed stuff, your top speed stuff. So we emphasize that a lot.
Yeah. Damn, so it's almost like, so you're like testing, monitoring, training. It's kind of all one and the same. Like you're getting the metrics from their 10 fly, and it's just it's all kind of one and the same.
Yeah, we're testing while we're training pretty much always. Sometimes we'll do 10 flies and we'll kind of take a load off the kids and we'll be like, we'll set up like 10 meters cones, whatever, instead of using the free lap or lasers, whatever we're using. So there's nothing timing you. And I'll say, we're just going to run and this will be like just a form day. And I'm just going to watch you guys. I'm going to pull you aside on the way back. I'm going to give you feedback. I might take video. I'll show you what you looked like, show you what I want you to look like. So we will do some days like that where we're not timing, but most of the time, yeah, we're going to attach metrics to what you're doing and we're going to track it. It keeps it fun because kids like to see how fast they're going.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. And so like cutting if you're not at 95% of your max and kind of running in that, I guess what would Charlie Francis call it, the danger zone between
Yeah.
70 and I think his was between 70 and 90, but
Yeah, that medium
like
intensity
is
no-go
that
zone.
just like a waste of time? Is that just like unnecessary fatigue?
I think, yeah, more often than not, like I think there's like a time and a place for that medium stuff. Charlie Francis is one of the first guys I got really into. His book Key Concepts was awesome, and it's stuff that I still kind of build from that model that he put together on there.
Mm.
And we don't do much medium intensity stuff. We're either running slower or running close to all out. But yeah, I think so like we said, if you're running at less than like 90-95% of your top speed, you're not going to get a great speed stimulus, but it's still going to be very expensive fatigue wise. So that training, you're spending a ton of
Yeah.
money for nothing. And then you're going to be tired the next day and you can't do anything tomorrow. And maybe the day after you're going to be fatigued and it's going to impact your week all for nothing. That's going to help you. So
Yeah.
we'd rather cut it, like cut our losses there. We spent 2 reps maybe trying to find it. It wasn't there. Cut our losses there, move on, and we'll try again in 2 days. And you'll probably be better by then. But if we had kept going like 6 reps, whatever, maybe 5 or 6 reps, and you're not hitting it, you're still expending a ton of energy. And then you're not going to be able to hit it the next time we do it either. And now you're in this vicious cycle of being slow and tired and beat up. And that's when injuries happen. And we don't want to do that. So that's why we kind of run like that.
Yeah, I like that. Quick sidebar. I don't know why my wife has been deep in documentaries, and she watched like a 30 for 30 on the, I don't know if you've seen on the Balco Labs. And
No.
Charlie Francis was in the documentary. First, it was like footage of Charlie Francis.
Whoa.
She was like, who's this dork? She's like, who's this dorky guy? And I was like, that man has fundamentally changed my life. My life. You take it back. He's a legend.
Yeah, make her read Key Concepts. Before you trash talk that man.
I'm just pulling up the like his like his high low diagram.
Yeah.
Look at this infographic.
Yeah. You think this is dorky? This look dorky to you?
You don't even get it.
He's a dork.
Oh,
fair enough.
Yeah. The khakis were too much.
Yeah. Fair play, Kelly.
But no, with that, like, do you ever talk to your high school kids about recovery, like knowing that being fresh, like you said, is one of the important factors for the ability to even tap into those higher outputs? Like if you see a kid who's consistently fatigued and you're like, all right, like something's going on with it, like how do you manage that with a high school athlete?
We haven't so far in my early career so far, I haven't had anybody display signs of like being like chronically fatigued like that. Usually it's like a one, and even that's been infrequent. Like someone's like just not hitting it that day. I'm like, all right, you're just gonna do some like easy tempo, nothing crazy. You're just gonna try to feel better. But as far as if someone was coming in like chronically fatigued, or chronically not even like fatigued, but chronically not hitting the numbers that we're looking for, first thing I'll do is like look back at their max that I have, and like maybe they are hitting it. Maybe this number's a fluke. If they're consistently hitting whatever, then like maybe that's where they're at. Maybe I was wrong the first time. But the first thing is like just having a conversation with them and seeing like, how are you feeling? Okay. And if they're feeling great and they're just not fast, like maybe that first number was weird. Maybe the timing gate, maybe a fly flew through the beam or something. Like maybe their hand hit it.
Something freaky.
And then I got like some
just like standard error.
Yeah. It's just like things happen like that. But if somebody was chronically fatigued, then we would like look into, in theory, like again, this hasn't really happened. I haven't had to do this yet, but we sit down, look at their diet, look at their sleep habits, look at how's school going, These kids get stressed. They're all high school kids. They're in classes. They're stressed out about school. They're stressed out about college. The big thing that I harp on lately is water. So like, just, you guys, there's no excuse. Like, don't be cramping up over here. Slug water. I gave them a time and an amount. Like, everybody go find your teammates at 1:30 and slug 20 ounces of water. We got practice at 2:45. You guys will be good then. Like, I want you guys to slug water, come take a piss, and then warm up. That's the game plan. And we try to like make it like a fun community thing. Like, like find your boy in the hallway. Everyone just like clink glasses and down the hatch. And like, I think they were doing it. I hope they were doing it. We stopped having a lot of cramping issues. So water was the main thing that I pushed.
Gotta call it the pee too.
Yeah, because they're like, I'm gonna be peeing all the time. I'm like, yeah, no, that's part of it. Like, that's okay. Go pee.
Don't do it during practice.
Yeah,
we gotta practice.
Yeah, exactly. Before. Yeah, but even like during practice, like when we're doing speed stuff, we're resting a ton. So when you're gonna have time, don't stress out about having to pee all the time. Like, just go. Like, when you come back, it's gonna be all right. Except for the whole, like, we were talking about
human experience.
We were talking before we got on the air about how long it takes to put spikes on. So that does make it a problem, because you can't wear spikes into the bathroom, walking around with the concrete in those. So like they will, like, if they got to go during a speed day, let's take the spikes off, go pee, and then come back, and then 30 minutes have passed. They got one spike back on. I'm like, well, now, like, you got to warm up again, dude.
You're colder than you've ever been.
Yeah, like, take an easy 100, come down and back. So yeah, that does come into play.
I love we talk about this all the time in our personal lives because we're lame and this is all we talk about. But like the like these models, these recommendations that are wrong but they're useful. Like, I'm sure you could eat, like, someone could come in and poke holes in like the recommendation of 20 ounces of water or whatever, slug it down beforehand and be like, well, actually they should be doing this per body weight with these electrolytes. And it's like, nah, let's do something that they are going to do. And this is for any client. Like, I'm going to give you something that's close enough and you are going to do it. And like you said, like, if you can make it fun for a group, that's even more of a win. And it's like, is it optimal? Maybe not, but like, it's way better than it was.
It's going to check the box to the extent that I need it checked. Yeah, it's not. We don't got to get down and dirty with the details. Drink water. That's it. But if you say drink water to somebody, like, what are they going to do? So give them a goal to hit. Doesn't got to be individualized, something like that. Just drink water. Drink 20 ounces. That should cover it for most people most of the time. You'll be all right.
Yeah, I think like Stu McMillan always talks about safe to fail things, and like nothing bad will come from that. Like the whole group doing that.
It's all upside potential. Yeah, there's like, no one's gonna get hyponatremia drinking 20 ounces of water an hour before track practice, right? If they do, then fine. Take me to jail, dude. Man. I told them to do it. That's on me.
Take me away, officer.
All on up to that one.
I was just doing my best.
Yeah. If you die drinking 20 ounces of water, maybe you were not supposed to be around anymore. This was just your time. You don't belong with us. You couldn't hack it, dude. 20 ounces of water takes you out. It was going to be something soon. If not this, it was going to be something else.
Yeah, and you can't put that on me.
No, yeah. So like, Judge, you were on the way out.
You can't put this on me.
You were on the way out. Sorry.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, we talked about the spikes up top before the show. We talked about it there for a second. The last thing that's been racking my brain is how the hell do you manage all of these high school kids in a group environment? I know you said before we started recording that it's been positive for you. I've had some high school big group just absolute horror stories. So I'm open to any tips you have for large group management.
Yeah, we hear horror stories too with like high school kids. Obviously, have something of a reputation. Middle school and high school boys in particular, they can be rowdy and annoying and not listening and like I kind of came in as I can't take much credit for it, but we just kind of have a culture kind of baked into our team where like kids are there, they want to get better, and they know to get better they got to kind of stay locked in. We got a couple like few kids goof off and stuff. What's kind of worked for me is I just like whatever, allow them to suck. I'm not gonna babysit you. If we're starting to do like excels and you're not over here, you're not gonna get these reps in. Your next meet's gonna be embarrassing. That's if you don't want it, I don't stress over it. And we'll kind of
that's fair.
With what we started doing last year, even to kind of like I mentioned, my first year we had like 40 kids trying to sprint because like high school track, everybody thinks they can do the 100-meter dash. That's like the big event. Everybody wants to do the 100-meter dash, but then if you show up to time trials, you're running a 14.5. Like you're not. This is not gonna go okay for you. Some people just didn't pick their parents right. Some people just needed to train more outside of this over the summer. So we kind of like set a standard now where like if you're not running, I think we set it at like 12.5. If you can't hit this time, you're going with the distance kids for a while and you're just going to run and get in shape. And you're kind of just going for like a 20-minute run. And so you're out of our hair. You're not taking up my coaching bandwidth for the kids that want to be here and need to get better. And you're getting what you need and we're getting what we need. Because what you need isn't like dialed in acceleration and top speed work. You need to just get in shape. If you're running a 14.5, that's so slow. You can't, you're not a sprinter right now. There's no excuse.
I feel like that was all an attack. That was all an attack on me.
Yeah. If you I don't think you would run a 14. I think you'd be under 14 at least. I think you'd be under 13.
I don't know. I literally don't know if I can hang on.
Yeah, dude, 100 meters is
because I'm out of shape.
It's so
like,
far.
I think it's far. Like I think like you said, I think I'm just out of shape. Like I can get 20, 30, maybe 45, but after that, I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah,
hold up.
So I think there's like an element of conditioning, just general conditioning that sprinters need. I think it's a pretty low threshold, which is why we don't do, and like Tony Holler talks about this all the time, is like we don't need to do a ton of mileage when we're training. We just work speed. So I think that conditioning threshold is met pretty easily to be a sprinter. That aerobic work that you need to be able to do is pretty low. And a lot of it gets checked just by sprinting. But yeah, those kids are way behind. All you need is just a ton of ground contacts, and it doesn't got to be that fast right now.
I'm just taking notes for myself, so thank you, Jim.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
But no, I like that. I think that's like, I mean, that's super helpful. I know like not every program, not every gym can do things like that, but I think like people talk about setting a culture, but like not having standards it makes it hard to maintain any semblance of culture or any semblance of buy-in, right? And I think even thinking back to the mistakes I made, working with high school athletes, it was like saying we have a standard and saying we have a culture, but not being able to like enforce those things. So then it's like, well,
culture is tough
for the kids who suck, or
it's hard to put metrics on a lot of it. Like a time trial is an easy one, but like a culture metric, like if you're not behaving in X way, then you're out of here. It's like how do you measure that? Like then take you to court, not be able to prove anything. But I think a lot of it's just the culture. Like it's a fun place to be, I think, too. At least on our sprints team. So like the kids like they're having fun, so they're not acting out. Like we're competing with each other, we're racing each other. It's a good time. And it's like as we've noticed personally ourselves, as we get into more kind of athletic styles of training, it's a fun. So like they're at recess, so like they don't have to be goofing off somewhere else because we're goofing off as a team over here. Like it's all goof off time.
Yeah, I like that. It like don't like instead they just don't fight that.
Yeah, lean into it. We're having fun.
It's almost like leaning into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's probably been a lot of why we've not had a big problem with, because if we were like a lot of other track teams in the area and we're just like we're doing 10 200s all out, that sucks. That's daunting. It's gonna hurt. Like, I'm gonna distract myself if I'm that athlete, and I'm like I'm gonna hide and I'm gonna do whatever over here. We just don't have that in the first place. So we do have workouts where kids like don't want to do them and they'll complain, but they know that like this is rare. Like we don't do this a lot. Just get this in. It's gonna make you better, and they kind of trust the process a little bit because we've had success so far. So that helps.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of training being fun for literally any level, for any goal. Like, I think it's gotta be enjoyable. You gotta want to come back. You gotta look forward to it. You gotta want to do it. And like you said, like that doesn't mean every workout's gonna be a blast, and doesn't mean like it's not gonna be hard. It doesn't mean it's not gonna be intense. Doesn't mean that like some sessions aren't gonna suck. But like, if they don't want to be there in the first place, it's gonna be really, really, really hard to make meaningful progress over long periods of time.
Yeah, and if they have nothing to look forward to, if it's all just crappy, gridded out workouts, then there's no end in sight. How do you ask them to sign on for that?
Yeah. Like,
this is going to suck for 3 months. Hope you like it.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, dude, that's how that goes.
Sign me up.
Yeah. So yeah, make it fun and be able to show that it works and it's worth doing.
Well, Jim, say less.
That's it, man.
In short, just lock in.
Yeah, if you're not having fun, try locking in, see if it changes things. If you're not doing well, try to lock in. Yeah. Lock in, lock out.
Yeah. The clients.
Get it popping, dude.
That's the gist of the show.
Yeah.
Get it popping. Oh, well, Jim, thank you for coming on the show, man. This has been fun for me. Even though a lot of it's felt like a personal attack on my slowness. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on and taking those attacks. I don't think you're that slow, though. I think
where can
set the record straight. I don't think you're slow. I think you're faster than most people our age.
It's an unbelievably low bar, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, it should be a higher bar. That's a whole other podcast episode, bro.
That's a whole other podcast episode.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, should we touch that? Like, nah, it's a whole other episode.
Yeah, how slow the Gen Pop is, dude. How generally incapable.
Being slow pokes.
Yeah, I'm going to make a list of people that are slow.
That's unbelievable.
Bring it with me next time. Yeah.
Oh man, but Jim, where can people find you to learn more about what you got going on? You've been a big content boy recently, posted some really good stuff. So
I've been trying to be a content boy. Yeah. Best place to follow me is at Jimmy Hodgins on Instagram, and that's where you'll find everything else that you need on me. That's where I post most of my stuff.
Boom.
That's it, baby.
Boom. That's that'll be in the show notes. Follow Jim for the memes. For the value content. He's got it all over there. It's good stuff.
It's everything. It's all over training. The place. Yeah. Is it good?
It's all good though. It's all valuable. I think it's solid. But Jim, no, thank you again, brother. This was fun.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on, bro.